Good evening, everyone. It is Marsha, my aunt, your hair goddess, and I am here on this B2T2, our Blue Table Talk, to talk to you about naturally locked and loaded. I welcome everybody who has decided to join us this evening or even come back on the replay. What we're going to talk about this evening are locks. They are such a passion of mine. I have been a licensed cosmetologist for over 30 years, but I have been a natural hair care specialist and doing locks for over 20 years. So even before they became real popular as they have in the last few years, I was already doing locks, and I had to do a lot of research on them independently because not a lot of people were doing them. So, just to give you a brief history, locks originated in Africa, and there are some tribes that still don those original dreads, and they filled them with red clay. They were significant of showing royalty within the tribe and telling who was who according to the way that their locks were done. So, of course, that migrated over to now where we think most locks are or dreads are in Jamaica. And so they're part of the Rastafarian community. And what they do is typically they shampoo their child's hair and they just let it go. They don't comb it anymore and it forms whatever that it forms. So a lot of times this is what you'll see, which this is now what we call free forming locks because they are derived just from what your hair is going to naturally do, and that is dread up, meaning to lock, intertwine, and twist up together. So, with that little brief history of the dreads as they migrated into the United States, then we started calling them locks because it's like there's nothing dreadful about my hair, even though that word dread didn't come from a derogatory place. So now what we do are called locks. They are traditional locks because we manipulate the hair every so often, typically about every 4 to 6 weeks, in order to create what we now call locks. Um, what we are now doing is sometimes considered blasphemy in some of the dread communities because of us using product on the hair and what have you not. But with basic hair care, we're going to keep it clean, we're going to keep it beautiful, and we're going to keep it nice and supple. All right. So, with this first session, we're going to talk about how we roll. So, with how we roll, there are different methods of creating our locks. And as you can see, I have one that I've had for over 13 years now. And whenever I first began, it was it was actually a braid at first, and then I started to retwist it. So that began my lock journey. And as you can see, it has a lot of different character on it. So how we roll is talking about what types of products and what types of methods that we use in order to create locks. And I see, yes, history is key. And it is the key to the knowledge of how to where you came from so you know where you're going. So, about how you're going to do locks is going to be based upon the curl pattern. So, someone with extra coily, kinky, and curly hair, that hair grows in the number 9. So it grows up. So I know you all are saying, all you TikTokers, you saying, my hair doesn't grow long, my hair grows out. And that's because that curl is in the number 9. So it grows up. Then people that have more straighter forms of hair, their hair grows in a number 6. So it grows down towards the ground. So it grows longer instead of growing out. So there's different methods for each hair type. So first is going to be our free form. And our free form is going to be just what you see on the screen. So again, you twist the hair and then after that, you just start to pull it apart. But before we really get into this, let me get into these products that we use with basic hair care. So there are 5 different products that we use in order to start locks or maintain locks. And that's going to be our enhancing cream, our moisture set meringue, our defining gel, and also our natural styling pomade in the Impact Collection and our setting lotion. So these you don't have to use all of these products at once, but at some point you may have to use them on the locks because you should not just have one product. That hair is going to go through different seasons and reasons, and we're going to give those to you why you will be using each of these products on the different ways of forming locks. All right. So you might want to get a pencil and paper so that you can write these down. So the free form that we just showed you, you can use any of those products in order to start it. Again, it's going to be based upon the hair texture as to which one of those products that you would use. And then we have our short comb coils. So whenever someone has tightly wound hair, comb coils or comb twists are ideal to use our defining gel. So our defining gel actually has blue agave and marshmallow extract in there that's going to help the hair to hold. So this is a method of starting locks, or you could do it as a style. And again, our defining gel is great to use on this type of method. Then we have the interlocking method, where you use a tool in order to lock the hair. And normally people call this instant locking. But there's also a method that is called sister locks. And I want Miss Nikki Hanner to join me, a certified sister loctician that will tell you more about sister locks. Nikki,
Hey, Marsha, thanks for having me.
hey.
I love the history that you gave. So many times we just get in the business of doing hair and really don't understand that a lot of these styles were here before we were. So I just want to thank you for that history lesson. And it's always great to know where you are, where you came from, so you know where you're going, and so that you can understand it better. I understood when I learned sister locks. There's a 4-day class that you have to take to become a,
Mhm.
a consultant. And with that, I just want to give homage to Dr. Joanne Cornwell, who is a African American Studies professor in California, but understood the patterns of our hair growth and created a tool, not only created a tool, but patented a tool to be able to help us establish these locks. And what I like most about my locks and my lock journey and others is that no lock is the same. Everyone may be different because why? Our curl patterns are different. So we
Mhm.
create we create the lock according to how that hair grows, which makes it flow and look almost like a loose natural. um, so I do like that. I also like that you have the versatility of wearing any style and being able to use products that we've seen already that basic offers, like doing a twist out. We can use our defining gel if you want a firmer set. We could use our moisture set meringue just if you needed to add some moisture. Not only that, the shampoo systems are awesome. I love to use the clarifying shampoo as well as our carbon detox system. And of course, we can always use our boost system because it's color treated hair. So Basic definitely gives us options no matter what kind of locks you have, they have the system for you. So thank you for having me on. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me, Nikki Hanner at IG for Sister Lock information. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Nikki. Yes, Miss Nikki is out of Tampa, Florida, and she does wealth of people with the Sister Locks, and I have always admired them. The first time I seen Sister Locks, I was like, oh, what are those, and how do you get it, and what have you not. So to have a sister on my team that actually does them, I just love it. And I mean, I wish that she was closer so that I could refer more people. But definitely, if you're in the Florida area, check out Miss Nikki Hanner for those Sister Locks. Okay, well, getting back to how we roll, my preferred method of locking hair is actually doing palm rolling. So, palm rolling, as you can see on the screen, you actually take your two palms and place the lock in between, and you move your hands in opposite directions. And so, by doing that, again, you're going in the number 9 for someone who has, naturally curly hair, and it's going in a clockwise motion because that is the way that the hair grows out of the scalp. Again, we do not lock the hair. The hair actually locks itself. A lock is just the hair that has released from the scalp that you did not comb out. And that's the reason why by manipulating the hair into that pattern, then the hair is able to lock and stays in that position. Sometimes you'll get a little frizz on it or what have you. And some people don't like trimming it off. They feel like it will eventually go in there. Me, I actually do trim it off. After about 2 years, if it's still there, then it's not going in there because that lock has already been solidified. So at that point, I do a trimming on locks, and especially with palm rolling sometimes, depending upon the texture, it may have a little bit of frizz. And some people like that because it's, again, character, like Nikki was talking about. Another method of locking the hair is going to be our 2 or 3 strand twist. And so they start out looking, just like the natural style. But then as they grow, you just continue to palm roll, or you can interlock, or you can actually go in with a comb. So you can go in with a comb, or you can go in with a tool and actually continue to lock, to start the locks. Now, I did this for my sons because my sons, I started there the same time I started mine. And now they've cut them, of course. But once their hair grew out for about 2 years, then I cut the twist off because I could still see their twist. Some people, the twist will actually disappear, or even if they are braided. I've had some clients who were lightly wavy. If they did cut their hair would go curly. So I have done 3 strand twists on them, and the braid actually disappeared after a while. So it just depends, again, on the texture, the technique, and different things of that sort. And then another method that we have is backcombing. So backcombing is actually going to be for those individuals that have a straighter texture of hair. And on this type of hair, I would personally use the setting lotion. So I would put setting lotion on there and dry them, and then go back in and backcomb. And backcombing is a very tedious process. I have done this on some of my straighter clients, and you have to start from the end and actually pull that backcombing up to the scalp. But the end result is beautiful, just like that picture. And sometimes they set their ends. But locks are just it's a significant and a beautiful way to express your creativity through your hair. So now, with them being an extension of you, some people some people actually like to do lock extensions. So they actually buy the locks already formed and attach them onto their hair. Some people take them out after a while, and some people also do other methods of lock extensions. Like myself, I normally add hair in and just um, intertwined it with the hair, and so they keep it. Then I also do the yarn braids as well. So that will give them a little bit of length, and then they can take those out after about a year. Some people like to leave it in a little bit longer, but typically my clientele, they will take them out after about a year. And I see that we have a question right here. Um, is there a special technique for cutting? So, whenever you are cutting locks, depending upon the person's locks, you may need to do what we call back twisting. And back twisting can involve using a comb. It can involve using you can use a crochet needle sometimes on the ends. But actually, what I typically do is go back on the ends and I go back and forth, and that's what I call back twisting. And I go back and forth on the ends in order to get it to rewound itself. Um, and actually, if you cut it at an angle, it is a lot easier. So, lock haircuts cost a whole lot more than regular hair. And another question we have is, can fine hair be locked? Definitely, Wanda. Fine hair can be locked, especially using the sister lock method. That's the reason why I fell in love with the sister locks, is because whenever someone has a finer texture of hair and they put in sister locks, it gives them a lot more body. And from when I was having a conversation with Nikki earlier, we were talking and discussing about using the sister lock method. They can actually put them in a way in order to give the hair more volume and give it more bounce and what have you not. So, yes, definitely, fine hair can be locked. And even if you want to use the comb method, do the comb coils, do the palm rolling, or even doing the back combing. All those methods can be used on finer textures of hair. Because what this does, I also use locks as a method of helping people who have alopecia. So when they have spots, or alopecia areata, not alopecia totalis, and not alopecia universal, but when someone has an area, different areas in their head that may be losing hair occasionally during the year or what have you, I have put locks in their head, and then of course they're able to grow their hair out because they're not combing any hair out. So even whenever that hair releases, it releases into the lock. So I have used locks as a method of basically hair therapy for some of my clients that do have alopecia areata. So thank you so much for that question. Are there any other questions while we are on this subject about how we roll? What are some of the reasons that cause locks to break? Okay, that is a wonderful question, Edwina, because that gets us into to condition or not condition the hair. So there are several reasons why locks will break. One is from over twisting. Two, not remoisturizing the hair. So that's where reconditioning locks comes in. So I want you all to put in the chat whether or not you believe in reconditioning locks. Because this is the thing. If you are overcoloring the locks or leaving color in the locks, different things like that can cause locks to break. over manipulating them. Like some people like to leave theirs up in a ponytail all the time, and where that band is constantly friction back and forth. So there are a number of reasons why locks will break. Sometimes illnesses will cause the hair to sort of thin out, and if you're not, and if the loctician is not recognizing that they have lost some hair at the scalp, and again, still comes from over twisting, and they over twist that hair, then in that spot, that hair will have a gap. And as it grows out, usually it will die. And that's what they call, a lock dying. My lock is pretty long right now, but yeah, I lost 6 inches probably about 2 years ago because of a dead spot in my locks. Hey Nikki, you're back. You're on mute, darling.
I'm back. I saw the question of, can you lock fine hair?
Mm-hmm.
My hair is fine. So the question is, yes, you can lock fine hair. And you did answer that question. The great thing about Sister Locks as well is, because we go with the texture and density or lack of density of the hair, we actually create uh, patterns for someone who has a low density, low volume, maybe thinner hair in the top. As you know, sometimes we have more density in the back than we do in the front, or we have different textures in different places of our hair. So we can adjust that with with our tools, and just knowing that consultation is very key, because we have to know those different curl patterns that's going on in the hair. So yes, fine hair, um, high density hair, all of that can be locked. So
Yes.
great questions. Love it.
Yes, it was a great question. Thank you again, Wanda. And so, and thank you, Nikki, for coming back on to really get into that. Um, you said once the lock is broken, can it be reattached? Oh, that's a great question as well. Yes, it can. Again, using a tool, you can go back in and you can reattach the lock. You can also use thread to reattach locks as well. Usually thread around the same color as the hair. Or if you're fancy like me, you can just add a little bit of crochet thread on there as well. But that's a great question. Yes, broken locks can be reattached. Even whenever you cut locks off, some people like to reattach them. Me personally, I'm like, if they're gone, there's a reason for them to be gone, because your life is in this lock. So sometimes you have to release people. Like I said, whenever mine broke, I was like, yeah, it was letting go of some people who were dead in my life. So, yes, definitely. They can be reattached. It's sometimes not the best thing as far as energy wise to reattach. But getting back to reconditioning the locks. So, yes, we can recondition the locks. We can recondition using our celerity conditioner, which is a conditioner, a balanced conditioner. So it's going to give you moisture as well as protein that comes from wheat and silk proteins, which are going to help to refortify the hair and help to strengthen it and help to re-moisturize the hair. But particularly for people who have color in their hair, we can use our Hydrolock mending cream. So, Hydroseal mending cream can be used on color treated locks, and it is a leave in treatment. So, it is going to provide moisture in the hair, and then we also seal that in with our Boost Conditioning Treatment Spray. So, the Boost Conditioning Treatment Spray that can be left in the hair, it is quinoa based, and it's going to add shine to the hair as well as lock in the moisture and strengthen the hair at the same time. These two products are for professional use only. So you all can find, you hairstylists and barbers can find this on basichaircarepro.com. You can go in and purchase on basichaircarepro.com. And for you end users or consumers, if you would like to purchase some products, then for your at-home care of your locks, then you can go to basichaircaresystems.com and purchase your products there. Again, we are naturally locked and loaded with basic hair care. And this is one of my pinnacle and well-known things that I do on the locks, and that is the Loc'd Detox Bath. Okay, so I keep mine in a bottle, but it's going to be your carbon tea tree shampoo, your clarifying shampoo, and our antiseptic. And our antiseptic actually comes in two fragrances, comes in cherry and cool water. So the ladies tend to like the cool water, and the guys like the cherry, even though we created them for opposite reasons. But nevertheless, whenever I am doing a detox bath on locks, like I said, I keep mine in a bottle because I like to go and place it throughout the locks. But if I had someone that had shorter locks, then I would go in and I would actually use an applicator brush. And I would go in and put it in vertically, and then go in and put it in horizontally. Then I would take them to the shampoo bowl and also apply it throughout the locks. And I would make sure to bring this all the way through. Then after that, then I take a towel and I actually stop the bowl up and fill it with water as high as I can, closest to their head. And this is what is left. You see this gobbledygook that comes up onto the surface of the water. Like you can see the towel in the bottom of the bowl. Now, the reason why I use a towel is that it will slowly let the water out. And so the client is able to see this. You could also do this at home for our consumers. And what I normally tell them to do is to actually just put a half an ounce in a spray bottle. So I put a half an ounce or equal parts of each product in a spray bottle, fill the rest up with warm water, and then they spray it throughout their hair. And they allow it to sit on there, and they put it in a plastic cap so that it can allow it to penetrate, and then it's going to relieve a whole lot of stuff in that plastic cap. He said, what can I use at home for my color treated locks? So that is a good question. You can use our Mega Moisture, which is a leave-in conditioner, and then we have what we call leave-in. So Mega Moisture leave-in conditioner is going to give you a lot of moisture. When we say mega, it has a lot of emollients in there that are going to help refortify the hair, add shine to the hair. And it does have a little bit, just a wee little bit of silk protein in there, so to help with the shine and helping to lock everything in. Then we have our regular leave-in conditioner. So that can be used on the hair as well, depending upon the dryness level is what I will say. So if it's normal, slightly dry, use the regular leave-in. If the locks are tending to be on the more drier side, then you use the Mega Moisture. And then you will also want to go into the salon and actually get a treatment. So you would want to come into the salon and actually get the Hydrocil treatment, as well as you could get the boost at that time as well, just to help seal it in. But definitely at home care for locks that have color, you're going to need to keep that balancing act of protein and moisture in that hair. Even though you're not blow drying it or manipulating it, it still needs to be treated. So that is the reason why I believe in reconditioning locks. And talking about color treated locks, we are going to have a naturally locked and loaded 2.0, where we're going to talk about color Mi Locs. So in that session, I'm actually going to go in depth about locks, about the history, about how you clip and why you clip, and different things of that sort, as well as talking about methods of coloring the locks. So keep keep it on this dial. Know that you need to come to Basic Hair Care and check and see when that class will be available. And so you can sign up to be notified at this link that you see below, so that you'll know when our next classes are coming up. And we also have another class that's coming up October 4th in just a few weeks. October 4th, we're going to be at E's Corner. E's Corner, we're going to discuss the balancing act, balancing the hair with the 90-day transformation system. And that's going to be with our renowned Miss Edwina. So you do not want to miss that, where we are going to discuss all about basic hair care and why it can take you just simply 90 days to transform a head of hair. All right. So if we have any more questions, please feel free to pop those in. If you have any comments, I appreciate those as well. Again, you can find Marsha My Aunt on Facebook, and you can look me up as the Hair Goddess My Aunt on IG, as well as rebirth underscore goddess on IG as well. It has been a pleasure to be with you all here this evening. I thank you all for joining us, and you all have a marvelous and wonderful evening. All right.